So, as we all know, property is one of the safest ways to grow wealth, but it only works if you know the rules of the game. So, welcome back to another edition of the Market Brief, where today we are stepping away from the trading screens and into the world of property, one of the most consistent and powerful wealth building vehicles out there. My name is Francois. I'm your market analyst here at ATFX, and today I am joined by professional property practitioner Kobus van Rensburg, who's here to share his insights on the real estate market, from opportunities to risks and everything in between. Kobus, it is great to have you back. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me back. It's always wonderful to have a chat. Hi, everybody. Kobus van Rensburg. I'm with Icon Property Group, and we specialize in the Western Cape in property, in residential and commercial. And yeah, like you said, it is a phenomenal investment. And what I like, there is something tangible. Just like gold, there is something that you can hang on to. I've done trading for quite some time, as you all know, Broncha. And even though that game is very exciting, I do like that you have something tangible when investing in property.
Absolutely fantastic. Kobus, let's kick things off with the basics. A lot of people know that property is a good investment. Okay, I think this is a basic, and this is that one thing that everyone understands, but they're not always sure how the money is actually made in property. So, Kobus, from your perspective, what are the three main ways that someone can truly make good money in property?
Rashad, there's a few ways that you can make property, and I also believe that you should take a step back and ask the person that you're dealing with, what do you see as an investment? Because it doesn't spell out the same thing for everybody. Some people have quite a, how can I say, big appetite. Some people are more aggressive when it comes to investment. They want to see bigger returns. Other people are more happy to see their money grow over a period of time. For instance, somebody that's buying a property in a certain place and expecting that property, the value of that property to rise over a certain amount of years while staying in the property, while calling that their home, that is considered an investment. But for someone like myself, coming from the trading background as well, I would like to see bigger returns in a smaller period of time. And if we look at that, bigger returns in a smaller period of time, unfortunately, it's not like trading where you can buy and sell in the same day. You have to wait. I mean, there's a few months for every transaction, but there are a few ways that you can make great money in property. And we're going to look at a few of those today. The first would be buying to sell, and that's considered flipping, and it's quite common. There's a lot of money to be made if you know what you're doing. That's if you can get the right property at the right price, and there is a margin, there is a profit margin. When you sell it, you make money. People always come, and I think I mentioned this last time. I came from the watch industry a few years back, where I used to sell top brands like Rolex and IWC, all these ones. And people would approach you with, they want an investment piece. Now, like in the watches, there are definitely pieces that grow exponentially over a few months, considered to be investment pieces. And generally for those pieces, they are quite expensive. The same with property. There are properties that the average price of a property in a certain area is going to go up over the next 12 months, 24 months. But an investment is simply a property that you can buy and then sell at a profit. So if you get a great deal and you're able to make money, that is a great investment. So that would be the first option, flipping. Right. So the second way you can make a lot of money in a shorter period of time is, and I've got quite a few clients that I'm serving this way, is people that's looking for fixer uppers, a property to renovate, to add value. Now, this might be not really a property that's neglected, but maybe it's the style is not up to date. And you can come in, add value, and then sell that property for a profit. I've got quite a few clients doing that. Now, there is also a lot of people doing that, a lot of my clients, and I've got a friend in Gauteng that I work with in Cape Town for his clients this side. And this is their business. They've built a massive business on this. There's a lot of money to be made. for this, you need your contacts. You need to know what you're doing. You need the right contractors on the job. Otherwise, there's a lot of areas where you could potentially lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So if you're going to do it yourself, do the homework. But my recommendation would be to align yourself with a team that's already got a track record in the area. Then there is a third way. This one is for people with a bit of a bigger appetite, and this is a bit more long term. This is where you get involved in development, estate developments, new security areas, complexes, where you buy units in these areas. Again, this is for people with a bigger appetite and they can wait a bit longer. But this one is the more lucrative one of the three.
Absolutely fantastic. And Kobus, I actually want to say, maybe there's a fourth way. And maybe we can add a fourth one to this, which I know a lot of people have been trying to get into the property market this way, which is Airbnbs. Now, as you know, and as most of our viewers know here today, Cape Town has always been one of the hottest Airbnb markets in Africa. But during our last conversation, it actually came up, and you actually told me about the fact that there are some new laws and some new regulation coming into effect that could change the landscape for both hosts and investors. Now, could you kindly walk us through what these new regulations are and what they mean for people looking to invest into the Airbnb rental property space?
Most definitely, Francia. Airbnb has been right on top there. One of probably the most lucrative when it comes to property investments. Now, as I stated before, I'm with Icon Property Group. We're situated in the Western Cape, and this is where you want to be when it comes to property buying and selling property. With Airbnb, Cape Town is the tourist capital of South Africa, and I want to go as far as to say of Africa at large. We've got visitors. Yes, we've got December, January, February. You've got your peak seasons, but we've got tourists and visitors year round in Cape Town. And this creates opportunity like nowhere else in South Africa. And this also creates a unique environment, a unique space for investors to capitalize on just what we have. Cape Town is a gem. Now, like we mentioned the last time we had this conversation, the city of Cape Town is looking to bring in new regulations to help people that live here. Because even though there is a lot of visitors, there's a lot of people living in Cape Town. Now, what this has caused just this year, the beginning of this year, the stats is that there were 700 rentals, long-term rentals available in Cape Town on the market at the beginning of 2025, as opposed to 23,000 Airbnbs available. That's a massive, massive difference. Now, what does this mean? It means that if I'm a local, if I'm working here,
that has a difference.
Astounding numbers right there. And what this means, if I'm working here, if I'm a local, it's very hard to get a place to rent. And this has in turn also hiked the prices of places. You recently moved down and you saw how tricky it was to get a place in Cape Town to rent, as opposed to somewhere like Polokwane or Pretoria or Joburg or Durban. So they are looking to impose new regulations. It has not been brought in. It's not cemented in yet, but they're looking to bring it in. And this is to help the locals. As far as are they going to implement it? Are they going to get it right? It's anyone's guess at this point. But just think for yourself, if there's 23,000 Airbnb listings available as opposed to the 700 long-term rentals, obviously it's working. If it wasn't working, there wouldn't be so many people doing it. So there is definitely still space for you to make a lot of great investment through the avenue of Airbnb at this point. It's still there, it's still up, it's still running, it is still Cape Town.
I can definitely agree with you on the fact that when moving to Cape Town, it was extremely difficult to find a place to stay here. And I mean, for the first 2 months that I was in Cape Town, I lived in an Airbnb because I couldn't find a long-term rental. So that is definitely an issue within the city. And well, let's see how that new landscape potentially plays out. However, I want to talk about the one part of property that people don't always talk about, which is as great as the opportunity within property is, there also is that element of risk. And many first time property investors go in with a whole bunch of excitement. But as you are well aware, a lot of first time property investors don't always end up making money because of the fact that they end up making some costly mistakes. Now, from your professional experience, what are some of the biggest mistakes you have seen first time investors make, and how can we avoid them falling into some of these traps?
Well, the upside for investing, or how can I say it, prospecting with property, is you don't have to have a stop loss in place. It's not going to run all the way empty, but you have to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're a complete novice, there are ways that you can lose money. For instance, one of my latest listings, the price is phenomenal, but the area is not great. And it is a property. It's for a certain people in a certain bracket. That's their dream property. But because of the price, it attracted buyers from every bracket. And you have to educate all the people that this is where the property is situated. This is what you need to look out for. Now, in general, if you know the area, if you've done your homework, it's just common sense. If you're going to throw your money at something, do a little homework first. But generally speaking, if you're in a nice area, if you're close to schools, close to a hospital, these are things that generally will add value. You can ensure that you're buying a great property, great value in property, close to a big mall, close to a new expansion, new development. These are things that add value. Things like crime. There are certain places you just want to avoid. Now, long and short, beginning and end, we are still in South Africa. Yes, Cape Town is a wonderful place, but it's still part of South Africa. And what we sit with in South Africa, and it's not just Africa. You can go pretty much anywhere. You will see this where there's very wealthy areas, and not too far from it, there's informal settlements or very dangerous places. And in South Africa, it's very prevalent. So when you buy a property, do your homework. Area is everything. Location is everything. A lot of people think that if they have done a lot of renovations to a property, that this adds, X, Y, and Z or a certain amount of money. But the fact of property is, if your house is you don't want the most expensive house on the street. You actually want the one that needs the most attention. You want other houses to be more expensive because they're gonna lift the value of the overall area. Put it like that. Location is everything. That's what you need to look out for. Then, are there major flaws in the property? Go walk through the place. If you can't walk through the place, have someone you trust walk through the place. Are there any cracks? Are there any major concerns? Are there any user rights? Are there any interdicts against the property? Those things matter. They can drag out the process, and this can cost a lot of time and money. And as an investor, this is not what we want. We want it to happen efficiently, fast, and the shortest time possible, and we want the most value out of the property. We don't want hidden surprises because that's going to cost money, not add value.
Kobus, thank you so much for those key insights. And to everyone watching here, as you've heard today, property remains one of the most attractive ways to build wealth. But as we also heard today, it's about strategy, timing, and understanding the rules of the game. Now, if you want to get in touch with Kobus to start off your property investment journey, I will put his contact details in the description below. Other than that, if you haven't done so yet, please remember to like this video and to subscribe to our channel. And with that, we come to the end of today's market brief, brought to you by ATFX Africa, the broker that gives you an edge in today's markets. Simply head over to ATFX Africa by clicking on the link in the description to go and experience the difference for yourself. Traders, until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and trade smart.